What's going on, everybody? It's Barmine from Barmine Tech, and today we're going to be talking about setting up Jellyfin. Now, I know we talked about this a couple weeks ago with the Plex Pass lifetime cost increasing, and I figured today we're going to actually do a more thorough setup of Jellyfin, and we're actually going to go over setting it up on Linux and Windows. So if you're not a Linux person, you want to do it on Windows, that's fine, and if you don't want to do it on Windows, we could do it on Linux. So the goal of today's video is to go through a full setup of actually setting up the media server on the OS. And then from there, we'll continue going through some other videos of some of the extra add-ons that we can do with Jellyfin, such as plugins and other programs that will co-work with them. So similar stuff to what we would have for Plex or any of the other media server options. So let's get right into setting up Jellyfin. We're going to start on Linux. We're going to start here in my server, and you can see over here, I already built out a VM for this. It's Jellyfin Demo. It's just a simple Ubuntu machine. It's got 2 cores, and it has about 2 gigs of memory. 50 gig boot disk, and you can adjust this as you need. So if you want a little bit more or less, you could do so. I probably wouldn't do less, but if you want to give it a little more resources, like CPU wise and memory wise, I would do so. This is just an Ubuntu template that I have on my Proxmox server, so I can quickly deploy them. So that's all we're going to work with. So I'm going to get the IP for this so I can SSH in, and we'll go there. And the second thing we're going to do is come over to Jellyfin's website. I will put this down below so you can check this out. What we are going to do is come over to the documentation tab, installation, Ubuntu. Over here, they're going to give us the setup over here, and we're going to go through here. So I'm going to get SSH'd into my new Ubuntu box, and then we'll start this setup. So over here, I am on the downloads page, and you see if we filter it by server and Linux, we have this Debian and Ubuntu setup script. So they do have a setup script that you can use to install Jellyfin server if you're interested. They do have a manual way if you are interested. I like using the script because it just makes it a little bit easier. So we're just going to copy all that. We can pull up this SSH terminal over here. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, so now everybody can see a little bit better. And I'm just going to paste this in here. I'm going to run it, and I'm going to put in my password. Everything looks good, so I'm going to click OK. And now it's going to begin to install Jellyfin. It's pretty quick, so we'll be done in about a minute or so. One thing I did forget to mention before we do this install, you're going to want to make sure that your machine is fully up to date. So you're going to want to do a apt update and apt upgrade. Just make sure you have all the latest repositories. You can see over here now that we do have Jellyfin running. And it's going to tell us to come over to this web page to access it. Now I'm going to just put this in a notepad separately because we're going to come back to it. First, I want to make some directories that we could use for our media, so I'm going to do that really quickly. So typically what I like to do on an Ubuntu machine that I'm going to be using for a media server, I like to go into /mount, and over here you can see there really isn't much. But this is a really good directory to use to make a directory for sort of media or anything like that. So what we can do is sudo make dir media, and then we can cd into media, and we can make something like TV shows maybe, movies, and whatever else you might want. So if you want to make whatever directories for whatever kind of media, you could do that inside of this /mount/media folder. One thing I do want to mention about this directory we just made in /mount. Now I did it in /mount because I'm just going to set this up as local storage. But if you're somebody who's going to be using like a NAS or some sort of network storage, setting it up in /mount is going to be an exact spot where you could do this. I actually have another video where I go over how to set up network shares and mount them to all different operating systems. So you're going to want to check that video out. But if you are using like a NAS and you have media on there you want to use for your Jellyfin server, you can set this up right here in /mount and /media, and then you can mount your network share to it. So I'll put a link down to that video as well if you want to see and go through all the steps of how to mount network storage to this directory. So at this point I'm going to take that URL that we got before from the Jellyfin setup and we're going to head over to it. And now we can start making our Jellyfin server. So you can name it whatever you'd like, and you can set up whatever your preferred language is. You can set up a username. Do keep in mind this username because you are going to need it to be able to log in and especially administer the system. This is for the web GUI, not for the SSH session. Now we can start to add some libraries. You could add whatever kind of media you have. So like you can start off with movies if you want, and then you can come over here to add a folder. For me, I put mine in mount, media, movies, and I can click OK, and then I'm going to leave all the default settings. If you're a little more well versed in Jellyfin, you can kind of go through and you can mess with stuff, but I think the defaults are going to work best. And I'm gonna click OK. And we can continue this process for anything else you might have. So if you have like shows, we can go back, and I have TV shows in there. And I don't have anything currently in there, but I'll add something in a minute, and we can click OK, and we can go through the same process. And you can set up as many libraries as you like, or we could do this later on. It doesn't matter. I'll show you how we could do it later on. If you get, music down the road and you want to add a music library, that can be done too, so don't worry. We're going to click next. We're going to select our preferred language again. I don't want to allow remote connections at this moment. If you do, you can set it up. Just keep in mind it's going to have to be opened up and have a port forwarded for the Jellyfin server to be able to reach out and anybody able to come in. If you do plan on doing that, that's fine. Just make sure you put the proper limitations and firewall rules in place. Or if you just want to have your users use a VPN directly to the Jellyfin server, that's fine. Or if you're going to just use it local, that'll work too. I'm just going to uncheck this. Click next. And now we're all set. We can go to the dashboard. At this point, we can log in. So I'm just going to sign in. And one more thing I'm going to do is put some media in here, so I'll be right back. So I just dumped a video in here. Now, if it doesn't refresh right away, which it doesn't always, what you can do is you can come over here on the home screen, and on this hamburger menu, there's dashboard. In here, you can scan all libraries, and it will ideally scan through and find any of your new files. So if we click the back arrow, you can see over here, now we have a new video of the timeline. So what it will try to do is autofill a title, and it will give you a description and any other data it can, because it does pull it from the TMDB database. So it will use metadata and stuff like that. Now, for certain reasons, I can't put like a movie that I have or from a DVD on here, so we're just going to use my videos for example. But when you do upload your DVDs or any other media that you have saved, like home movies or anything like that, it'll try to pull the appropriate info through this method and autofill it. Same thing with TV shows and anything else. This is where Jellyfin's a really good tool, and it'll work out really nicely that you can really build out this full home media server with all the different types of media you may have. Now we're going to go back into this dashboard over here, and you can see there's a lot of different stuff going on in here right now. I have logs for my failed login attempts. We have who's been accessing the server. We have some file structures over here and their size and how they're doing health-wise. Devices that are currently connected. We can scan all the libraries to make sure we have all the up-to-date media. We can restart, shut down the server. We have our build information. We have a lot going on this first page, but this is what's going to make it possible to really manage the server fully. We can go through all the settings. Again, here's the general ones. These are a lot of the stuff that we already covered on the install. If you ever find anything down the road you need to adjust, you could do it over here. We have Brandon, which if you're a little more familiar with graphics or maybe CSS, you could adjust stuff over here. Like you could set up a custom logo for a splash screen. You can put in a disclaimer on login. You can set up CSS for the web interface. I don't typically mess with this because it's not really my thing. I'm not very good at it all. And here we can set up additional users. So if you do have more people locally or remotely, they're going to be connected into the server. You can give them their own user account and they can sign in. They could have access to watch anything that they might like. And here you can restrict their access. We can give them permissions to certain libraries. We can put parental controls on here. We can change their password. Anything you might need to do to manage a user. We have our libraries in here. This is how we can go through. We could add if we need to add more content down the road. So it brings us to the same idea, and we can come in here just like we did in the initial setup and add that folder. There's some more settings for that. Nothing too crazy. Over here in playback, we do have some options over here. So one thing about Jellyfin is that it does have the option for hardware transcoding, and you can set that for free. You don't need to have a license. You don't need to pay for it. It is available out of the box. So if you are going to be running this as a VM and you have a GPU pass through, or if you have a physical box of GPU, you can set that up in here and you can set up hardware transcoding. Currently, I don't have a GPU we could use, but you can set it to use a CPU and you can do that appropriately in here. Over here, just some more playback settings, streaming, anything else that you might have. We have our devices over here, so it's just a log of all of our devices, activity. One thing you can do is that if you're somebody who has like a HD home run or some other TV tuner, you can connect that in here and you could actually watch live TV and have a DVR as well. These are the plugins. We're going to talk about these in a later video. These are all different add-ons that you could add to your Jellyfin server to really modify it and make it however you'd like. Again, we're going to talk about plugins a little bit later on, but there are some really cool plugins that you could really make your Jellyfin server into something really sick. Most of this stuff you probably won't have to touch networking wise, API keys unless you're going to need one for some sort of service. You can create backups and you can export them if you want, and we have logs and scheduled tasks. So this is just stuff that Jellyfin's going to do recurrent to make sure everything's working and as it should. But that's pretty much all the idea of Jellyfin. It's a pretty straightforward setup. There's nothing too crazy to it, and once you kind of get it going, it just kind of keeps working. So now that we have Linux set up, I'm going to go over into the Windows box and we're going to set that up. So you can see over here I set up a Windows box, and this is just running server 22. This is just a template machine that I have on my server, so that's why we're just using this. You don't need to use server 22. You could use Windows 11, or you could use anything other Windows wise that you're comfortable with. I would suggest using a package of it that is still fully supported so you can get the latest security updates and everything else that you might need. I'm going to RDP into this box, and then we'll start doing some work on there. So like I said, I like to use server for stuff like this, and so do my friends, because it's a little bit more lightweight, and it's going to run long-term services like this a little bit better than it would on like Windows 11. So I'm just going to minimize this, and if you're on a regular like Windows 11, don't worry, it's the same idea. There's nothing going to be too different. First thing we're going to do is come over to Edge. We're going to go over to Jellyfin, and we're going to download the package. So we're going to come over here. There's downloads, server, Windows, and we're going to click download. I'm on AMD 64, so I'm going to click that. If you're on ARM, come over here and do that. And after a second, it downloads and we're all good, so we can click to run this. We're going to go through the setup process. I'm going to do it as the local user just to make it a little bit easier, so I'm going to click next. So now over here, this is going to be the actual folder where Jellyfin's going to live. It's telling you do not choose any folder that contains any other data or media. So it's saying give it its own folder that it can live in by itself. Makes sense, and it actually defaults to one that's going to work. So just make sure that there's nothing else in this folder that might override or counteract what it's trying to do. Same thing here, and we're going to click install. After about a minute or so, it's all done, and we can click close, and you can see over here in the top left corner, we have Jellyfin server. So I did click to open it, and over here you can see, you can't see, but it's behind my face. It says Jellyfin Windows tray is now configured to run when you log in, and I actually have a system tray for Jellyfin. So over here I could actually click to open it, and it's just going to bring me to the browser so I could access it. Now we can finish doing the setup. So we're going to do the same idea. We're going to name it. We're going to set up a password. And now we're at the point where we can start setting up some media. So if we come over here again, we're going to have a similar idea. We go to folders, and now it's going to ask where we want to do it. So we can set this up a couple different ways. If you do have a network share mounted, you could do that over here. Or if you want to just do it under your C drive and dump files in there, you could do it that way too. Most of the time you're going to be using a network share, so you'll probably want to mount that as like a network disk to the Windows machine, and then you could pass it through from there. I'm just going to come over here and set this up in just the C drive. So we're going to just do C, media, and then in here we can make some more folders, and then we should be all good. We're probably going to have to restart the server just because I changed file type since it's been running. So I'm just going to click OK through here, and I'll actually add the folder at a later point. So I'm just going to click next. Next, I'm going to not allow remote connections. We're going to click next and finish. It's the same setup as we had it for on the Linux box. It's just on a different operating system. We can sign in again, and now we just need to add that library. So what we can do is first I want to restart Jellyfin. So I'm going to come over to dashboard, and I want to restart it. Now I'm hoping, since it's a Windows service, it's just going to restart the Windows service, not reboot the whole server. And it looks like that's the case. It's just rebooting the Windows server, so that's perfect. And looks like we're all good. We're back up to, it's back up and running. So if we come over to libraries, in here we should be able to start adding some stuff. So I'm going to select movies, folders, and over here is my media folder I just made, and then we have movies. So I'm going to click OK, OK again, and now we have movies. So one thing I am going to do is I'm going to dump a file into there, so just give me a moment and we'll do that. And now I have a file in here, so I just have another one of my videos from building the Epic server. And if we scan over our libraries again, it'll take a second, it'll scan through. Now we should have our media. So if we drop back, you can see over here we have movies, and then again we have our video over here. So now you'd be able to go through and actually start to watch media and share it. However it would be, it's the same idea as it was on Linux, we're just running it on Windows. So all the settings are the same, everything's going to work out the same. So if you do come back over to dashboard, we still have all the same options. We just have it on Windows now, so like the directories and the paths are going to be a little bit different because it's Windows versus Linux. But again, it's all the same concept. So that is how we set up Jellyfin. I did it on both Windows and Linux because some people aren't Linux people and some people aren't Windows people. So we just did it for both so everybody can be part of this and set up their own Jellyfin server. I know some people like to actually run their media servers on Windows just because they feel it's a little bit easier to manage. So that's why we did both of these. This is going to be a continued series. Like I said, we're going to go over in the future some more videos of stuff like setting up plugins and some of the other things that pair up with Jellyfin to get a little bit more out of it. So make sure to subscribe and keep an eye out for any of the upcoming videos. Like next week's video, it's going to be talking about the plugins for Jellyfin. Again, we're doing all this because of the Plex Pass lifetime cost increase. So if you're somebody who doesn't already have a Plex Pass, this is why Jellyfin could be a really good option. You're going to get all the features that Plex is trying to paywall, and you get it on a absolutely free system. And the developers of Jellyfin have actually said that Jellyfin is always going to be free no matter what. They've actually gotten tons of offers in the past of people that want to buy them out or buy their product, and they repeatedly tell them no. This is why Jellyfin is going to be the best option if you're not looking to buy a Plex Pass at this time. Which for $750 to host my own media server, I wouldn't either. Again, that's how we set up Jellyfin. As always, I want to thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and as my buddy Dom would say, hack till it hurts.